Hey there everybody, today I'm going to be demoing the underpainting look. I'm super excited, a little bit nervous. I'm going to trust the process. This is a little bit backwards from the way that I normally do makeup. Usually my makeup routine is prime first, then foundation, then concealer, corrector, blush, etc. This is doing it the other way around, where the concealer is first and then foundation. So I'm going to trust the process and we're going to see how it goes. So first is actually to hydrate the skin. I'm going to be using the nourishing oil. I've got a good amount in here because I'm going to also do my neck. So I'm going to use all of this. Get my hair out of my face. You can tell my skin was dry because it's reddening a little bit. That is just from the contact from my hands and the fact that my skin really needed that hydration. That is looking good so far. My skin is feeling hydrated. I can just literally feel it going with that hydration. It just feels so good. And the nice thing is I can put the excess on my hands and really work it into the cuticles. Anybody who has suffered from nail biting, definitely make sure to moisturize your cuticles. That has helped me tremendously. So I'm just going to work that in there and then work it into my knuckles as well. Beautiful. All right. Ready for that next step. So for the next step, I need my under eye corrector and concealer. Now, what you could do is if you have a light concealer and a dark concealer, you could use a dark concealer as a contour as well. I'm going to use the under eye corrector and a light concealer, but you could use just a light concealer and a dark concealer as well. Just make sure that if you're using a dark concealer, use it here, here, and a little bit along the jawline. So I'm going to start with the under eye corrector. Get my glasses out of here, but not too far away because I do need them to see. All right, so I just squeeze a little bit until I get a tiny bit there. It's a lot, so we're going to use it. Boop. 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 And then here is that concealer. I'm going to use it under my brows to define them. Trust the process. Along the nose. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be worked in anyway. little bit here, some right here near the Cupid's bow, along the chin, and then I'm also going to put it in some under the eye as well. And again, if you have also a dark concealer, you can use it here, here, along the jawline, and just on the forehead for a contour. All right, I said I was going to be grabbing one of these. This is that beautiful blush stick that the purchase of it benefits the Mary Kay Charitable Foundation. This is the Spark Change. Look at this amazing color. So on the apple of the cheek, gonna smile a bit and just drag it up and drag it up. And that is underpainting. So now we have to work it all in and then put foundation on top. I know it's scary. So this is the new blending brush. Look at those edges. Sharp, sharp, and round. So I'm going to be using this precision part here for that under eye area. And work that in under the eye carefully. So you can see that really precision line there is from that amazing flat end of the Beauty Blender. Also got a little bit of a spot there, which is part of the reason I put it on my chin. Work that blush in a little bit. Did you know that you could use this for a liquid blush? Again, this is for liquid products and dry products. Be just showing that later, soon enough. All right, now any foundation on top of all this. My absolute favorite is the CC cream because it is lightweight. I use 2 pumps on the back of my hand. And just to avoid getting it into the brush as much as possible, I did soak this brush for just a little bit before using it. Squeeze it out thoroughly. You don't want it wet, wet, wet. You just want it not dry, because the drier the sponge is, the more product it will absorb into itself. And then I'm just applying dabs here. And then I will work it in with that amazing blender. I'm just using my finger to again avoid losing product into the sponge. You could apply with the sponge or whatever brush you want to use. All right, let's get to it. right, let's get in close and see. There we go. There's the spot I missed. Make sure to drag around the jaw as well, especially if you're doing that contour. Same thing with the top of the forehead, blending into the hairline. Don't want any sharp edges or have it be very obvious where that makeup is starting and ending. You can see that blush through the foundation. That is so cool. This is why we trust the process. Because everything's there. It's just very, very subtle. I love how subtle that is. You can see my hair starting to come out. It's, let me out. But look at that subtle coloration here. And then that beautiful application from that sponge. This round bit you could use to actually apply the brush. I just used my fingers because I didn't want to lose product, but obviously this round bit can be used to apply and do a combination of blending. Now we're not done. We want to set it. So I've been trying to keep this part as dry as I can for translucent powder. I'm going to kind of give that a bit of a whack. Dip in the sponge. And then press it. And we're going to need more. So this is a tip. Whack, whack, whack. That'll dump a bunch into the lid. There's your sponge. And just pat away. Oh my goodness. That application though. That is beautiful. Goes on so smooth. Setting the makeup like this, using a powder on top of liquid, will always make any makeup look much more stable. Please ignore my hair. It's very excited. And one more, just around the eyes to set that, lock that in. Oh. Now we can see how the whole thing comes together. My hair has already been begging to be let out. And let's I do this as a trick so that I don't lose my earrings. I actually attach them to the chain of my necklace. So let's put one in. Grab the other one. I love how subtle this is. So if blush is something that frightens you a little bit because of how, colorful it always is, try underpainting. Now, underpainting, as far as I know, really only works with liquid products, which is, again, why I'm using this liquid. Well, it's cream, really, but it's not a powder. So it's a cream blush, and again, the liquid concealer and under eye corrector. Now, I was demonstrating the versatility of the sponge, but for these, the cream color brush can also be used for that detail work under the eye. I wanted to use this to demonstrate how versatile it is and the different things that this sponge can be used for, and already I can say it's definitely better than the old sponge. reluctant. So that is the finished look. Argue with my hair a little bit. Good enough. Ooh, get in there. And I really enjoy how subtle that is. So this is a great place to start if, again, you want to learn and experiment with blush but are afraid that it's going to make you look like a clown. You can see that color coming through underneath that foundation, nice and rosy. I didn't even go as hard on the blush as I could have, but you could go harder on the blush, especially since that foundation is going to go on top. And also that translucent powder, besides locking everything in, will kind of scale back anything that it's on top of. So if you're doing makeup the normal way, things normal with makeup, have fun. But if you do makeup the traditional way, where it's foundation and then blush, and you think, oh dear God, you know, this makes me look like a clown, you can put translucent powder on top and that will kind of kick back that severe, you know, color change that sometimes blush can have. So just some tips there. But I really love how subtle this is, that just gentle rosiness under that foundation, and the subtle highlights on the nose there, on that chin, under the eye, which is great for me because, again, you see those? Those bags, always trying to look to correct those. And also for us glasses user, just making sure that the eyes are bright so that they're not dark and hidden behind those glasses is just a great thing. So that is underpainting. I'm a fan. And that's all for me. I hope that you are having a fantastic day so far. And I'll see all of you again really soon. Take care of yourselves. Until then, bye.